Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus Real Sociedad preview ahead of our second leg in the Europa League, and also latest Manchester United news as well. A few things to talk about that actually. A transfer offer rejected for a centre-back. Also potentially the return of Jesse Lingard. But we'll start off with this game. You can see quite an interesting team on your left there. I think, look, Real Sociedad got battered 4-0 last week. We've got 4 away goals. They're not going to come to Old Trafford and win 5-0 and knock us out. That's not going to happen. It could happen, but the reality is if it did happen, I think not only Solskjaer would need sacking, but the whole of the first team that played in that game. So it's not going to happen. And it is an opportunity to make changes. Now, Real Sociedad did go and win 4-0 themselves at the weekend. They actually beat Alaves, which is where Pelestri's on loan. He played his first few minutes. I think he came on the 55th minute for them. But they are in a relegation battle. So, look, there was a big quality difference between Manchester United and Real Sociedad. And I do not see Real Sociedad coming to Old Trafford and giving us much of a problem. Does it really matter if we draw the game? Does it matter if we lose the game 2-1? It really doesn't matter. We are through to the next round. And what this game has to be, it's a big test for Solskjaer in this game. If he starts Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, or even gives them any minutes in this game, then what is the point in having a squad? You are never going to get a security blanket like this in a second leg. 4-0. I mean, if we were playing over there, I still wouldn't play Bruno and Rashford. But it's at Old Trafford. We've got the 4 away goals from there. You cannot, with Chelsea coming up, Crystal Palace coming up and Man City coming up, we cannot go into this game and play first teamers when we can give them the week off. And stick them on the bench. Don't use them. You know, if by some miracle we're 3-0 down at half time, bring them off the bench. You can make 5 subs, but do not, in any sense of the word, use first team players in this game. So the team I've gone for, obviously Henderson in goal. Wan-Bissaka shouldn't play. Brandon Williams should play. Telles should play. Shaw shouldn't play. He will play Maguire. He should play Bailly and Twansebi, but I guarantee he will start Harry Maguire because Harry will want to play. He'll want to put his body on the line and Ollie will want to pick Harry. Realistically, it should be Bailly and Twansebi with Maguire on the bench, but I think Maguire will start. Again, what is happening with Axel Twansebi if he can't start games? Of course, he might play Twansebi at right back and not play Williams, but personally, I'd play Twansebi and Bailly, but he will play Maguire. Obviously, Matic has got to play because you would use Fred and McTominay against Chelsea at the weekend. Therefore, if Van der Beek's fit, which I think he is, he has to start the game because, again, he's not going to start against Chelsea and, you know, he needs game time. I'd play Mata in the 10 role instead of Bruno to give Bruno a rest. I mean, I would put Dan James on the right, but I think Dan James will start against Chelsea, so put Greenwood on the right. Martial obviously up front because if Cavani's fit, we need him for Chelsea. And Rashford needs a break, so play Diallo. I mean, it's not... Look, Diallo needs to start this game of football. There's no rhyme or reason not to do it. It actually makes a lot of sense because if you don't play Diallo, who are you going to play? You've either got to play Dan James, Cavani or Rashford, all of which need a rest for the Chelsea game. So I don't think he will start Diallo, but it makes total sense to start Diallo. There's nobody else to use. Like, we haven't got Lingard here anymore. Pereira, Pelestri, these are all not here. So start Diallo, don't start Rashford. Look, it's up to Ollie what he does. He's the manager of Manchester United, but that team I've picked there is absolutely sufficient to not get stuffed by Real Sociedad, and it gives squad players game time, and more importantly, it gives first teamers a week off, which is exactly what they need after the season that they've had. So, look, I'll keep saying it. Diallo is not Shoretiri. He is not Hannibal. He is not Hugel. He is not a youth player from the youth setup who's never played first team football before. He's played Serie A football. He's played Champions League football. He needs to play Europa League football. He needs to start this game. In my opinion, he needs to start this game so that we can rest people like Marcus Rashford and whoever else is going to start against Chelsea. Give them a week off. Chelsea are playing tonight. They are playing Tuesday night football. They've basically got 5 days off before they play us. They've got a big advantage, Chelsea. We're playing Thursday. Don't play players that are playing against Chelsea on Thursday night. Give them a week off. Very important game against Chelsea. And if you can't trust your squad players when they've got 4 away goals and you're leading 4-0, when can you trust them? So I would hope that he will go with a team like that, which actually, when you look at it, is still a very, very strong side. And I would say that team against Real Sociedad's first team, I would still expect it to, Matic, Van der Beek and Mata, Greenwood, Martial, all right, Diallo, but you've still got Tellez, Bailly. I don't think that's a weak... obviously it's not our first team, but I still think that team can get a result, and I think it sends out a big message as well. Why are we playing him out of position, says Wes Stevens. Who, Diallo? Well, he can play off the left. Put Greenwood on the left then. I'm not bothered, but he can play off the left, and I don't really care if he plays off the right or the left. Ollie has said Diallo will probably not play, unfortunately, says Zed Jamie. He said that Diallo will not play, but I'm not Ollie, and I'm putting a team out that I think he should put out. And I think that if you don't play Diallo, you've got to start either James, Rashford or Cavani, all of which you need for Chelsea. So why are you starting a player on Thursday that you need for Sunday? It's totally ridiculous, and you don't need to do it. So don't do it. Don't play people on Thursday night who you need on Sunday afternoon. It's 2.5 days rest. Don't do it. He doesn't need to do it. He's one of the luckiest managers in the Premier League this week because everyone knows he can rest all of his first team. He should do that. Maguire shouldn't start either, but I bet he will. But, it's not like if you don't play Diallo, who you're going to play. There's nobody on the bench to play, so use him. Absolutely. Sahil says you could play Martial left, Greenwood up front and Diallo on the right. You can mix them how you like. I don't really care how they line up. I just think that should be the front three. James isn't needed for Chelsea, Mark, says Busting Up, but I think he will play against Chelsea. I think Dan James will play against Chelsea. So, if Dan James isn't needed for Chelsea and we're going to use Greenwood, take Greenwood out and put Dan James in. Your reaction if he starts Bruno this game, says Salah Ahmed. If he starts Bruno in this game, I'd question the authority of the manager. I'm sure Bruno wants to start because, he will want to start, but it's about what's best for Manchester United. If Bruno starts in this game, then Ollie really needs to look at himself and say, why am I allowing that to happen? Why am I allowing a player to play because they want to play? I'm the boss. Paid 30 million for a player to play reserve football. He better be the second coming of Maradona. If so, Ollie needs to give subs game time for match fitness, says Gabriel Noel. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, Diallo has cost us over £30 million, £35 million, I think it is. Get him some game time. You're never going to get it any better than this. If you're not going to give him a game against Real Sociedad when you're basically through, what game are you going to start him? Because there's not... Every other game we've got now is going to get harder and harder and harder. So he's got to play. He's got to play. And if he isn't going to start, maybe you start Dan James 45 minutes and take him off at half time. But get him in that game. He's got to play 45 minutes, Diallo. And I think starting him is the best way to go. But if he doesn't start half time, he's got to get 45 minutes, especially with 5 subs. There's no excuse. And maybe Show Retire will play as well. Maybe give him a bit of time. But yeah, he's got to be using those players in a game like this. Van der Beek 40 million, Ahmed 30 million, and leave them both on the bench, says Orcus. And Mark, what are your thoughts on Anthony Elanga? Well, he's been injured, but I think he's a good player as well. Just very quickly on the under-23s, they lost 3-1 to Everton last night. They've had a lot of players out because a lot of them have moved up to the first team, like Hannibal and Sholatire, and Diallo was playing with the under-23. So they got a bit overrun last night. But Galbraith playing in the midfield, Ethan Galbraith, he's been named in the Europa League B squad, which is obviously where the young players can be named as part of the squad. So I don't know. He might get some game time on Thursday. I don't know that he will, but he might be on the bench and he might give him a bit of game time. And to be honest with you, if I was Ollie, I'd look to do that. I would look to do that because this game is over. This tie is over. It is absolutely over. I can't build it up anyway, but it's over. And if it wasn't over, it should be over for a lot of United players because you cannot let that allow it to happen, that you get done over. Save Greenwood for Chelsea, says Mahid. Well, I'd rather Dan James start against Sociedad and Greenwood start against Chelsea, but at the moment, Ollie seems to have fallen back in love with Dan James, doesn't he? So I think Dan James will end up playing against Chelsea. Hi Mark, I hope we see Tony score a couple of goals. Needs to build up his confidence again. Hope we see Diallo and Van der Beek as well, says Andy. Well, he's never going to get a better opportunity. And it's not just about Diallo and it's not just about Van der Beek. It's also about Brandon Williams. It's also about Axel Tuanzebe. These players need to play in this game. We're talking about starting a 19-year-old who's only just come to the club. Brandon Williams was playing first-team football for United a year ago. Axel Tuanzebe played against Mbappe and Neymar. And now people are like, I don't know whether I'd chuck Williams into this game. I don't know whether I'd play Tuanzebe in this game. I mean, come on, hello. Brandon Williams was playing up against bloody Man City. He started against them last year. Axel Tuanzebe played against bloody Neymar and Mbappe, like I say. I think they can play against Sociedad in a dead game where we're 4-0 up before away goals. He's got to play. He's got to play Tuanzebe and he's got to play Williams in this game. He has to. You've got to rest your play. I mean, Maguire should not start. Start Bailly, start Twansebi. Do not start Harry Maguire or Aaron Wan-Bissaka or any. Just don't start any first teamers. Don't start any of them. Give them a bloody week off. Send them off to a spa or something if they're open, but or arrange for a massage. It seems like it's Milinkovic backup or Koundé first choice for centre-back. I think those are better options than Mings, Pau Torres and Badashil for me, says Salah Ahmed. The fear I have is people will overhype Diallo if he has a good game against Sociedad. His price tag should not determine his starting game, says Vinnet. Interesting from Vinnet there. And also Ismail says, hey Mark, can you wish me a happy birthday? It would make my day. Keep up the good work. Well, just because you've done a super chat, Ismail, I'm not going to wish you a happy birthday, actually. I'm only joking. Happy birthday to Ismail. I hope you have a really good day. And I'm sure you'll get a few from the live comments as well. I just want to bring in some topical news as well. Just talking on centre-backs there, what Salah was saying about Koundé first choice, Milenkovic second choice. I think it's very hard to know what United are up to in the transfer window. And the reason it's hard to know what Manchester United are up to in the transfer window is because I don't think they know what they're up to. But there was a story I saw just before going live from RMC, which is a French outlet, saying that that Badashil turned down a move to Manchester United in the summer for £22 million. Bullshit. Sorry. I'm sorry, I can smell. What's that? Yeah, it's that bull, and yeah, he's defecating. It's a load of rubbish. No way. What? Basically, they're taking this from a quote from Badashil, where he basically said that it was better for me to be at Monaco anyway. That's basically what his statement was. It was a few sentences, but basically what he's saying is no regrets. It was better for me and my development to stay at Monaco anyway. He didn't reject the deal. You're telling me that Man United offered 22 million for Badashil. Monaco said yes. Man United spoke to Badashil and he said no. Oh, okay. So you're 19 years of age. You've got the opportunity to come to United and treble your wages, and you're going to turn it down to stay at Monaco. Bullshit. This did not happen. What happened is, if it happened, is Man United had a bid of £22 million rejected by Monaco. And then they're asking Badashil about what his thoughts are about that, in which he says, well, it's better for my development to be here. There's no way Monaco accepted 22 million and then Badashil turned it down. So it's a misinterpretation of the story, in my opinion, because a player, Monaco wouldn't have accepted 22 million anyway. And even if they did, he wouldn't turn it down. He wouldn't turn down coming to Manchester United. It would be a dream move for a player like that. So I don't believe that anyway. And I don't actually believe we offered 22 million for Badashil. I think it's just a bit of a nonsense story altogether. Need to get some of the young lads on. Perfect game to see how they perform next to grown men. Some of them will look like kids still. This is how you find out, says Mark Dobby. And how much do you rate Dan James, Mark? I don't want to be negative at a time of positivity. He's doing very well at the moment, and there are times in his career when Dan James has done well. I said that this season was the season. He got a lot of criticism last year in his first year, and it was very up and down. And I remember about a year ago I said, for me, I'm not going to criticise Dan James. It's all about what he does this season. I don't think he's done enough this season for season 2, to be honest with you. I reserved judgment last year when a lot of people were critical, like I said, and I said, let's see what he does this year. I don't think he's done anything this year that's any different to last year. So I think 18 months into the Dan James Man United journey, I would say at times he can do good things, but he's very inconsistent. And that's not what we need. So is he a bench player for United? I don't think he even gets on the bench when people like Amad Diallo and Hannibal and everyone starts, getting game time. So I don't see his future at United. But at the moment, fair play to him. Let's see how long this form can last. But I don't see it lasting, no, if I'm honest with you. If we lose the games with more than 4 goals margin, the players should quit football. I could play instead of Mason and probably won't lose 5-0, says Nora. Yeah, I mean, look, there's no jinxing on this. There's nothing to do with jinxing on this. United, look, Real Sociedad can score goals, but I tell you what, you are a coward manager if you start picking a first team against Real Sociedad when you're 4-0 up. Ollie's not going to do that. It's just how many first teamers he's going to rest, and I would rest them all. Because the great thing is, if you don't play any of our first team, right, and you're losing 3-0 at half time, you can bring 5 of the first team on anyway to steady up the ship, or even 2-0. So you don't need to do it. Do you think Smalling and Maguire would have been a better partnership than Lindelof and Maguire? I think we sold our best centre back, Leo. I think I'm probably in the minority, but I think that I think Chris Smalling was our best centre back, and we let him go. Wayne says that Bellingham and Haaland turned down United. They turned down. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You might want to get your facts right. That they didn't actually turn Man United down, and that's very different to Badiashile, because Badiashile didn't leave Monaco. Haaland did leave to go to Dortmund, and Bellingham did leave Birmingham to go to Dortmund. So it's not the same. I think you're trying to say that Badiashile could have turned United down. Maybe if he'd gone to another club, but he didn't. He stayed where he is, and players don't do that. Very rarely do they do that, and that's not what that story's about anyway. It's been misinterpreted. Was Fred worth 50 million? No. We overpaid on Fred, didn't we, to be honest with you? Considering how many years he's been at the club, he wasn't a £50 million midfielder then. I mean, inflation, he might... No, he's not a £50 million midfielder, is he, Fred? Let's be honest. He's a good player, but he's not a £50 million player. He's probably more 35 million. It's like Maguire. I think Maguire's a £50 million centre-back. Mark, what's your honest thoughts on our depth, says Andy? It's a bit of a mixed bag, Man United's depth, I think. I think we've got some good depth in some areas, like at left-back, Tellez. I think in, up front, we've got good depth now with people like Cavani, Greenwood. I mean, I know Martial's not performing, but you wouldn't, that's a form issue, isn't it? But I think in certain areas we've got really poor depth, like the midfield. Is Scooby-Doo back, says Sahil? Well, I think Cavani and Scooby-Doo will be back. Scooby-Doo is Scott McTominay, but I wouldn't use them against Sociedad, because then you sort of rule them out of the Chelsea game. So Van der Beek I would play in this game because he won't play against Chelsea, but Scooby-Doo and Cavani, I would keep them back for Chelsea on Sunday afternoon. Another bit of topical news for you as well. What about this? Where have you written it down? Yes, you've written it down there. Bleacher Report, Dean Jones, journalist, saying that Manchester United may well bring Jesse Lingard back to the club next season to replace Juan Mata. What do you think about that then? Leicester are meant to be interested in Lingard. West Ham are interested in Lingard on a permanent deal. What would you say about taking Jesse Lingard back next season as a replacement for Juan Mata? Because to me, if we're thinking of doing that, Jesse beware. Because Juan Mata don't start Jesse. He's just a bench player. And that's all you're ever going to be at United, a bit part player. Look at what you're doing at West Ham. You're on the back of the papers. You're on the edge of the England squad. You're doing dance routines in the next to the corner flag again. Why would you come back to Manchester United to coast it? Look, Jesse's a young lad who wants to play football, who clearly enjoys the limelight of being successful as a footballer. No problems with that at all. Why come back to Man United and sit on the bench at best? So, look, I think United may well want to bring Lingard back to replace Mata because they don't have to spend any money. We've done this before. We've given contracts to crap players because we don't want them to go, so we have to buy a player. So, I absolutely think United will want to bring Lingard back next season to replace Mata if Mata goes, because they don't have to spend any money to do it and they can just pocket Mata's wages. So I think United would love to do this, but I would hope Lingard resists it himself and says, no, I'm not doing this because I've seen I can be a big player in the Premier League and I want to play first team football. Man United, Jesse, just be careful, because if United say, wow, you could play for us first team, come back and prove yourself, bullshit. What they're really saying is, come back and take Mata's spot because we don't want to buy anyone. He won't play. He's not going to play for Man United, is he? He's not going to get back in the Man United first team. Whether people think he's good enough or not, he won't get in. Where are you going to fit him in? Where are you going to fit Jesse Lingard into a Manchester United starting team? He's going to be on the bench. But if he plays for West Ham and Leicester, he probably starts every bloody game. So he's got to do what's best for his career. He's in the position of power. He's got 1 year left on his contract. United can try and keep him if they want, but they'd have to give him a new contract, and I think he'd be foolish to sign it. He might sign it, he might fancy himself to get back in the team, he might be happy being a bit part player at United, but I think it would be a big waste of his career. He's proven that he can go to another club, not a top 6 club, and be a big player, and I think that was always the hope with many of us, with Lingard, that he wasn't good enough for United's first team, but that he could go and find first team football elsewhere. Phil Neville did it with Everton and did it to great effect. Phil Neville was never really a starter for Manchester United, went to Everton and he was the captain and he was a really important player for them, but he could never really hold his place down at United. And I think Jesse Lingard needs to look at that. What Phil Neville did is that, Phil Neville never wanted to leave United, but he did it for his career and he went on and played first team football until he retired. And I think Jesse needs to look after himself there. But he might decide he wants to be a bit part player at United. Did Fred and Bruno cost United similar transfer fees, says Salah Ahmed? Roughly, yeah. It was a very good point, actually. And please let him go. I enjoy this style of play and enjoy watching him, but probably won't be able to start in United. Jesse plus 35 million for Rice, says Nora. I don't. You know what? As much as I think, as much as I mention it, I don't think United have got the competence to do a swap deal with Declan Rice, because you'd have to give him some money as well, and I don't think we will be able to do it. You could do Jesse for Ndidi, says Kanash, if Leicester want him. Again, you'd have to give him some money. Yeah, you would. Zakaria runs out of contract in the summer and is a solid CDM and can play centre-back, says Ruddy. I don't think he does, mate. I don't think he does. I've looked at Zakaria before. I'm pretty sure he's got 2 years left on his contract. I will double check for you, but he's not out of contract in the summer. No way. Yeah, 2022. So a year. He's got a year left on his contract. But no, you raise a really good point. You raise a really good point. It's a year less than I thought. There's so many players available this summer, and Manchester United, with a decent director of football, could have mopped up. You've got Milenkovic, 1 year left on his contract. You've got Varane, 1 year left on his contract. You've got Zakaria, 1 year left on his contract. Obviously, we've got Pogba and Lingard, 1 year left on their contract. There's definitely business that could be done, and I think it would be really interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, you'd probably get Zakaria for about £30 million. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Search your heart, search your soul, and when you find me there, you can search no more. Have United ever legitimately been linked to Zakaria, or is it a fan theory? I can't think whether we've actually ever been linked to him credibly. I know we were linked to Samori. I don't know whether we have been linked to Zakaria. I think it's a player that we like and not necessarily the club like. But yeah, 1 year left on his contract. It's not a bad idea. We should do Lingard plus cash for Soucek, says Ryan Harris. And can we not play Martial off the left wing, Greenwood up top, and Ahmad off the right? Yes, Jack, we can. We can move that around. It's not a problem. Samari's going to go to Leicester, Mark. Wouldn't surprise me. And you know what? If Samari goes to Leicester, you can guarantee in a year's time we'll all be going, we should have got him. We should buy him. Fofana, very, very, very good at recruitment. Leicester are compared to us. I mean, they got Tillemans. We could have got Tillemans. I think Tillemans would be better than most of our midfielders. Why do you think United overpay for players? Maybe because they get desperate, says Priam. I don't think we are going to overpay for players anymore. There was an interesting thing that I didn't bring into the morning show, actually, from David Ornstein, who's a journalist over here in the UK, and he said that Manchester United won't be paying 70 million for 3 separate players this year. They just won't be doing that. They are looking at players, but they're not looking to do that. Well, of course we're not. We're not going to spend 210 million on 3 players. So I think the way we do business is, and look, I think you and myself as well, we're not demanding United go and spend 150 million. People bring to the plate very good deals. Like you say, Zakaria, he's got a year left on his contract. He's going to be cheap. People are talking about Milenkovic. He's going to be cheap. There are deals that can be done out there. Samori will be cheap because French football's got problems at the moment. So there are a lot of deals you can do if you are clever. Signing Koundé, Declan Rice and Sancho sounds great, but financially it's a huge outlay. But you could do Koundé, you could do Milenkovic, Zakaria, and that's 60 million. You've got 2 players, CDM and a centre-back. So there are ways of doing things. They've just got to be the right way. They've got to be the right player. They've got to fit the team the right way. Everton are in for Max Aarons now, says Denton. Well, I don't think a backup right back is a priority for United, is it? Max Aarons is going to go for over 20 million quid. You can't sit here and say we need a centre-back, we need a CDM, we need a right winger, but let's spend 30 million on a backup right-back. We can't be doing that. But look at last summer, we did this. We spent nearly £20 million on a backup left-back, but didn't get a centre-back and a right winger. So, never say never with Manchester United. We might go into the summer knowing we need a centre-back, a CDM and a right winger, and coming out with a backup right-back and another striker. Because you just, like I say, you just don't know what Manchester United are going to do. But look, score predictions for this game on Thursday night. I think that it's probably going to be... We might lose, but I'm going to go 2-2. I think if we go with a team like this, we can draw 2-2. And I'm not really bothered if we lose 2-1. It's not about winning the game because we've already won the tie. It's about if we can... when we play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Sunday, if Bruno, Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Scott McTominay, Fred, Cavani, if all those players haven't kicked a ball, well, some of them won't have kicked a ball even against who did we beat at the weekend? I've had an absolute brain blank. Newcastle. Then that's a good thing. You don't want any of those players playing on Thursday night. That's what Manchester... All I'm thinking about this week, if I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is I'm not giving Bruno or Rashford or Wan-Bissaka or any of my first team any minutes in this game. That's my aim, not to give them any minutes in this game. Because, and the big because is, because we've got an injury crisis at the moment, we are missing players, Pogba, etc. And you can't moan about the schedule if you're not going to give players... And we've heard Ollie moan. We've heard Ollie moan about the schedule, the relentless nature of it. Well, you can't moan about it if you're not going to give players off when you can. There is an absolute dedicated week off for our players this week. And a week off doesn't mean go on your holidays. A week off just means don't play. Light training, bit of fitness work, no competitive injury risk, no 90-minute game against the competitively. That is a week off for a footballer. They'll still go in training. They'll still be doing their whatever they do at Carrington, but not playing a game will be huge for them. It will give them a freshness against Chelsea. And it's a massive opportunity that we won't really get again because we were going to get next week off, but we're playing Palace on the Wednesday now. FA Cup football to come. Europa League latter stages to come. This is the one and only chance he's got right now to give players time off from playing a match. He's got to take that. Bruno cannot play in this game. Marcus Rashford cannot play in this game. Give them the week off and we'll get the benefit against Chelsea. Mark, do you think the reason why Ollie is sticking with McTominay in the CDM position is because he's trying to turn him into the next Carrick, says Bradley? I think you're right. I think they are trying to turn McTominay into the next Carrick. But to me, they should be turning McTominay into the next Pogba. And I'm not saying he can be the next Pogba, but Michael Carrick was never attacking. And McTominay's best bits are as an attacking midfielder, so you're clipping his wings really. Mark, I hope you win as we need some target practice for the finals, says Zayn Miasi. If you're in the final, Zayn, you've had a cracking season. You've got no chance. Although I do think it will be an all-English final, so maybe Arsenal could get there. Chelsea can't score, so United will win, says Ronan. And DJ knows Grealish and their mates, says Boomer. And Mark, is Zakaria injury prone? Also, isn't he more risky coming from the Bundesliga compared to Rice? He is, Art Vic, but I think there's always a risk with Bundesliga players, and it seems to be increasing. Having said that, it's a price thing, isn't it? Some people would take Zakaria over Rice because of ability. You can certainly take him for price. Isn't Diallo supposed to be the right winger we've been waiting for? He's left-footed, so he's an inverted winger like Rashford on the left, says Alha. Yeah, but what I'm basically saying is start him. I don't care if he's on the left or he's on the right. Wingers can play from either side. Ultimately, his future should be as a right winger, I agree, but I don't really care where he plays on Thursday night. Hi, Mark. While we know Man United need a CDM and a centre-back, is that the priority for Ed the Idiot, says Surash? I've not heard United be in for a CDM at all, so I can't say that it is a priority for Manchester United, no. That would be the best they've done in the last 2 years, says Damon. I think he's talking about Arsenal. Show retiree should start, but can I go through the pain of the commentator, says IA Game. I know I need to get used to the name as well. Mark, what's going to happen to Chong, Palestri, Garner, Levitt, Bernard, Mengi, Laird next season? Will they have a future at United? I would imagine a load of them will go back out on loan again. I think Chong is being lined up to be sold. He's doing quite well in Belgium, but I don't see him playing first team football for United, which is a shame. I think he will be sold. I think that Garner will probably go on loan again. Palestri will go on loan again. Levitt, not so sure what will happen with him. Mengi would probably be looking at another loan, and so would Laird. I don't think they're quite ready, any of those yet. Anyway, look, please smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're moving towards that 1 million, so please subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Share the video, smash a like, it all helps. I am going to be live playing FIFA career mode in about 10 minutes on my channel, Mark Goldbridge, That's Football, if you want to join me there. We had a cracking game yesterday. Unbelievable amount of goals in the game against Southampton. Even did better than Ollie. So join me for that. I'll be live in about 10 minutes. But thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like, and I really hope we see a team like that on Thursday. We should not be picking any first team players. Give them a game off. Get them fresh for Chelsea. Thanks for watching.